Welcome to Feeding Fathers. Today we're going to talk about food, slowing down, and how that could help us in our life and in our faith as well.
And how work is bad.
And how work
Is that what
could
you're
be.
Could be, could not be. But speaking of work, I never knew this, but apparently it's very hard to sell your car. And Father Andy has been going through it recently, and I think everyone should hear about this.
I don't want to talk about this.
Oh, okay.
He has a
My-
new
my-
full-time job.
My new full-time job is getting rid of this car that I had. Hopefully
Sorry
by the
to
time
hear
this,
that, man.
this airs on YouTube, it'll be over.
So now you have two cars. Wow.
I don't even know what I have anymore. But getting a lease was easy.
Yeah.
Getting out of the old one was whatever.
I think it's fitting that he has two cars, but he's the vicar general.
Yeah,
He's not just a
yeah,
regular
vicar
guy.
I need
general.
one as rector of the seminary,
Yeah.
one as vicar general,
Yeah.
one as the administrator of Maranatha State Mission in Temecula.
They should know that you're not going to be screeching around the corner in a Kia anymore, but
That's
you're
true.
going to be doing so in a Camry.
Yeah,
So
correct.
you're on it.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's
Yeah.
big. I mean, Camry is very fitting for the vicar general of our diocese.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
More titles and more work. I love
Yeah.
it. Speaking
Well-
of work, yeah, as you said,
Speaking of work,
we're back to that.
So I wanted to talk about something that I was very sad to miss out on because I had a gathering and I couldn't go, but I was so jealous. I've never seen the seminary look so nice and organized
Classy.
and very classy.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, look, I had a great seminary experience, but when we would eat food, it was, like we go to like rallies.
Have you been to the zoo and seen how the monkeys are fed at the zoo? That's our typical.
Yeah, this is how we were raised.
This is the primitive
Yeah.
part of Father Andy.
It was great times, bro.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, Mexican food late at night, burritos.
But Father
rallies.
Fadi has been living at the seminary and has classed it up a bit. And we had a really nice dinner on, what day was that?
Thursday.
Last week on Thursday.
last
Last
Thursday.
week
Yeah,
on Thursday. Yeah.
And he made a fantastic Italian dinner.
yeah. And I
Like
hope
all the settings were there, like the right kinds of forks on the right side of the plate,
crazy.
and all that.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
the bishop was coming over, so it was a really, really nice occasion. It was his first visit to the seminary, and it was lovely having him. But it's an important topic because there's a relationship between faith and culture, and I think it has a lot to do with the way that our faith views the importance of the human being and human dignity. So, because of a Christian culture, human beings don't feed like animals do. We dine with one another. And the purpose of our eating with one another is really to share a friendship and to elevate a conversation and to enjoy one another, which is something that can actually, which is why every Christian civilization, whether it's France or Italy or whatnot, they have a whole culture surrounding the act of eating in these prolonged meals where conversations are meant to occur. I've mentioned before on this show that my favorite movie is Babette's Feast. And to put a long story short, it's the story of a French woman who was run out of France. She was a very important chef in Paris in the time, and she was run out of France, and she ends up somewhere in the Netherlands serving a Lutheran Protestant family that eats very little, very austerely. I think they ate pickled herring every day. And after 10 years of serving this family, this woman comes into an inheritance. And she decides that she's going to spend her entire inheritance on cooking a meal
Wow.
for the people that she had been living with for the last
One
10
meal?
years. One meal.
Oh wow.
So, and it's extraordinary what she cooked. She didn't leave anything that she didn't cook, but she organized a dinner party and set the table and invited all of these people, all of whom had strained relationships or had been fighting with one another. And in the course of this meal that they shared with one another, they all came to peace with one another and came to understand one another and had a really beautiful conversation that ended up with praising God for all
Wow.
the good things that he gives us. So I think the purpose of the movie is that only a Catholic woman, a French woman, could have brought this to a Protestant ethos because we understand the goodness of creation and the goodness of the things that God gives us, and that these things are to be enjoyed in their proper place.
So there's a similarity and there's a contrast. In Chaldean weddings, they'll spend an entire inheritance to have one dinner at a wedding, but it ends up causing more fights than it ends up repairing.
That's funny.
It depends on where
Why?
the focus is, right? So everything in a
Wow.
Catholic meal should be serving the conversation.
Yeah.
The food is good, but you're hardly ever talking about the food.
Yeah.
It's simply serving something higher than itself.
Whereas at a wedding, you can't even talk to people because
Yeah.
the music's so loud.
Yeah. And like the intention also too.
And the
you know.
food's never good.
Rarely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they spend all that money. That's an interesting contrast.
Plus, the process of preparing and cooking the food is also very communal. I really enjoyed doing that with the seminarians.
Yeah. That was good too.
So there's an act of love in preparing it, and in the manners of a table setting, there are things that are implicit. Like, for example, the wine glass is always next to the water glass, but the wine glass is always smaller than the water glass. And that's intentional because the principle of temperance is already there in the manners.
Never knew that.
Yeah, John Paul II once said that a faith that hasn't become a culture is a faith that hasn't yet been fully lived.
That's kind of incarnate.
Incarnate,
Yeah.
yeah. So table manners, even something like table manners from a classical culture, from a Christian culture, ensconces the faith in its own way.
There's two parts to that. There's charity and the virtue of connection with God and with each other in love of God, and what that assumes, because grace built on nature, it assumes justice, and there's a kind of justice also in table manners. If you're sharing a table with somebody and you're so loud that nobody can hear any other conversation, or if you're monopolizing the conversation, that's unjust, and therefore it goes against charity as well. And part of it is also the way that we're interacting with each other assumes both of those.
Yeah, noticing what the other person needs and
Yeah.
serving them first before
Yeah.
you serve yourself and things like that.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate because I think eating together as a family was part and parcel of every household once upon a time, and we hardly ever do that nowadays. We're basically eating a burger in the car as we're getting from one place to the other.
Burgers, if you're feeling fancy.
If you're feeling fancy.
Protein bar, yeah.
Protein bar.
But you're noticing at least one of the causes of the destruction of this kind of culture, which is obsession with work, or not even obsession. It doesn't even have to be like a vice on the part of the person that's doing it. The need to do that. Some people just economically, the husband and wife both have to work all the time. My parents had to work a lot for us to not even live in the suburbs and not in the inner city where it was actually dangerous. So both had to work. We just didn't have that opportunity. And it was not a choice of theirs, we're going to do this so that we can drive a Mercedes instead of a Toyota Camry or something like that. It was so that we could even survive. And because of that, a kind of economic necessity, this beautiful thing is just lost. And then you do your best with it. Okay, I have to not die, so I'm going to eat the protein bar in the car. But that's because of emergency, not because that's ideal.
And maybe you can ensconce something like that in family life, like once a week,
Yeah.
or if you can't
do
do
what
it
you
every
can.
day. But I learned this mostly when I lived in Italy for all that time. I lived with an Italian family, and the meal was almost sacred in the context of the Italian family. After 7 o'clock, that's what you do. From 7 to 9, you're at table talking to one another about everything that is happening.
We did that too. I'm very happy to say, like, there was a time, okay, we're going to have dinner together. Oh, I have this. No, it doesn't matter. You put it aside. All of us are more important than each of us. And whatever you have to do, you put it aside. And you get to it later. And you're not that much more important. Maybe you're more important than me as an individual, but you're not more important than all of us together. And whatever it is, put your phone down. We're all together right now. Whatever it is, you do that later. We're here together. And I think families enforcing that once a week or as often as they can is a good thing for the heart of their children.
I agree very much.
Yeah.
I think it's nice to observe that having a meal, sitting down for a meal, especially one where there's so much care that has gone into it, doesn't serve only to satisfy hunger, but also serves the humanity of the people at that meal. I think it's nice to observe that. And I think you can observe that in multiple instances with Christ. Christ sits at table with many people, different people throughout the Gospels, and it's not as if he has paused his ministry to do it. His ministry includes it, and conversion happens at those in those settings. So it's just another avenue of interaction. It's not just we're going to stop doing our work completely and forget about it and just eat this meal, be present in the same room, and get our hunger taken care of. The human interaction, human behavior continues in that meal. And actually, it accesses, I think, a different mode of interaction during that meal. So much so that people change their minds in front of Jesus. People go from one state of living to another when he makes those house visits and reclines at table with them. So it's
not all business.
It's not all. Yeah, it's not all business, or it's not the complete stopping of business. So it's a good balance that you can achieve in terms of human interaction at those meals.
And it's for that reason that the Lord chooses a meal in order to give us what is most sacred, is his body and his blood, right?
Yeah.
That's the natural context in which something supernatural can happen.
Yeah, like when you were explaining the plot of Babette's feast, she receives a great deal. She's been given a great deal, and she chooses to pour all forth in service of the family that she's serving. I mean, I was just thinking about the Last Supper when you were talking about that, because Jesus is the richest, entity or person that has ever walked the earth, and he used it all to pour himself forth and left us with that inheritance.
For listeners who like to read, I would suggest a book by Leon Cast
I just sent you guys that link.
called
that's the one?
The Hungry
The
Soul.
Hungry Soul.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
If you're in a Barnes and Noble or something like that, if they're still around, I don't know, but you usually find that book in the cookbook section, but it's not a cookbook. It's
Is it in the
Oh.
cookbook section?
That's usually where they put it.
No way.
But it's a book about the philosophy of eating, how human beings eat, and it's really insightful. And then there's a film, The Babette's Feast. It's an old film, so you have to like old movies in order to enjoy it. But I think it's worth your while. It's not very long.
That film?
Babette's Feast. Yeah.
Babette's Feast?
It sounds really boring. I'm not going to lie, but I might still watch it. Although I like some movies that are like slow paced.
Yeah, I think the first time you mentioned it, like when we were doing our favorite movies here, I think if I remember correctly, Father Tristan was on the episode, and you said that, and he was like, "That's the most boring movie I've ever seen," because
Did
I
you
think
watch
they
it?
showed him it at like JP Catholic.
Oh,
or
I
something.
see.
I think.
And you have to know what to expect going into it. It's not
Yeah.
it's not a modern film.
Now that I
but
know what to expect,
our minds are so like dopamine induced that
Oh,
anything
yeah.
that's thoughtful is going to be boring.
Yeah. And it doesn't have like a shooting or a
Yeah,
action scene every 2 minutes.
Personally, I like a change of pace like that. I like a movie that's different than the movies I'm used to watching.
Bishop Sedhead used to say this thing. I don't know if he ever told you guys, but he was talking about one day. He was talking about the fact that people are not into like stories anymore, into the like with the movies, but they're just into like action or romance. And so he would say, it's either kiss kiss or boom boom.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's like an old joke among Cali clergy. They say
Really?
that. Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Really? Yeah. That's what he would say, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, it reflects we're always in a hurry, and the movies are always in a hurry too.
Yeah.
Even though it's funny because the movies, on the one hand, they're relatively fast paced, but sometimes they're really long too. They're 3 hours of like just a bunch of explosions.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I know.
it's hard
But,
to do pacing
yeah.
like that.
I mean, the culture nowadays, like with the way that the younger generation is, and like even the older generation now, I mean, we've spoken about this in the past, but in relation to this topic, the idea of doom scrolling, like you watch a 10-second video and then you just keep on going. Like I was so happy to have a conversation with a kid who was like watching a show, like
Yeah.
you sit for 30 minutes, and like I didn't care what the show was, but I was like, I'm glad that you're watching a show versus doom scrolling all
That's
day.
a real slippery slope because when we were young, you watch TV when you want to relax and not pay attention to anything. and the half an hour was the easy thing to do.
Mhm.
Now they can barely do that. It's painful
Yeah, it's
to
crazy.
sit and watch something for half an hour.
Yeah.
That's really shocking.
Crazy,
That's a
bro.
really, really shocking cultural
Mhm.
shift.
But notice the other day when we had that meal, I mean, I think we were at table probably for 3 hours, maybe a
Really?
little bit longer,
Wow.
right? I mean, from the charcuterie to the dessert and the digestivi afterwards, and 5 courses. But the time just went
Jeez,
by.
man, I really
None
wish
of
I
us
was
were
there.
bored.
Oh, man.
That sounds so good.
This is up Father Chris's alley. Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate it a lot. The food was fantastic. By the way, Father Fadi is an excellent cook.
Yeah, I enjoyed doing
Um,
it. Thanks.
But like, and again, I've had a lot of experiences like this where I'm like, oh gosh, I really got to pay attention to this from now on. And I just slip right back into my habit because, again, I've got all these responsibilities and titles and stuff like that. And parents have to do so much stuff. And it's a habit that they're in. It's not just a decision you make. The world and your own like daily life is pulling you into not doing this. It has to be a concerted, serious effort. We are going to do this, and no matter what, we're going to make sure this happens and plan for it. And it's hard. It's hard to get out of a habit into something more positive.
Yeah.
You know, when I think about this, sometimes like I'll have a friend that'll be taking a day by the beach. And where do we live? We live in San Diego. It's one of the most beautiful cities you can live in. And the beach is what, 20 minutes away? And
How
I
often do
haven't
you
seen
go?
the beach.
Right.
I haven't seen the beach, I think, in a year, or more than a year.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And just that video or picture I get of a friend being there by the water is like a taste of something calling me to realize like how deep I've gone in the other direction, like of just being concerned with getting tasks done. So that reminds me, like I need to do something consciously, like through a real effort to go and I don't know, do self-care or
Yeah, no, seriously.
Slow down.
You're bringing up a really important point because I think there are different people in different parts of, there's a sort of spectrum of personalities. And we're speaking for ourselves as priests that are in parishes and that have all kinds of responsibilities and jobs. I'm thinking about parents that have all kinds of responsibilities, that their kids depend on them. For them, this is not to say neglect your responsibilities and just go to the beach all the time and let your kids starve. Or
There's a
something like that.
balance.
There's other people though that have no responsibilities whatsoever. They're just doing nothing all day long. Here's what I want to going back to the idea of justice. The people that are overworking, part of that is your fault because you're not covering your responsibility and you're making them do too much. And because all you're doing is quote unquote self-care and relaxing and stuff like that. Because you're doing that, everybody else the other people have to work too hard. Do your part, and then everyone gets to breathe to the appropriate amount. And what I always say is look at the Sabbath. The idea of the Sabbath is 1/7 of the week, you're not allowed to work. It's a law because God knows we're not going to do that if he doesn't command us, some of us. Other people are going to have 7 Sabbaths a week.
Yeah.
And he says, no, it's 1/7. And
Yeah.
for those that want to work 7 days a week, no, one of those days you rest and you worship me. For those that want to rest 7 days a week, he says, no, you work 6
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But the problem is if you don't take that Sabbath, you don't know who you're worshiping anymore.
That's right. So it's needed.
And work is for the sake of rest,
Yeah.
not the other way
Exactly.
around.
Yeah, not
we
the other
don't
way
rest
around.
in order to get back into work.
Yeah. Right.
Heaven is an eternal rest, and the Sabbath is meant to be an anticipation. of
Yeah.
that.
Rest, not as in just going to take a nap or something, but
No,
just like you said,
it's
eternal
it's
rest.
doing the things that are
Worship.
really
Yeah.
worthwhile. Having a meal like this on a Sunday is a very leisurely thing to do.
Yeah. It's
Even
why-
for the person who cooks it, it's a very leisurely thing to do.
And it's why you make money. You make money so that you can do this.
Yeah.
You don't do this so that you can go and make money again.
Yeah.
That's the point you were just making. Yeah.
The Catechism calls the Sabbath a day of protest against the servitude of work and the worship of money.
Yeah.
You know, really
What's
nice.
the word we use for the guys that are always out there go-getters? What's the word? Hustlers.
Hustlers.
Or there's other something culture, grind culture, rise and grind. So this is rise and grind culture. You just got to work all the time because that's what it is to sort of be manly or be like, I don't know what, like.
That sounds miserable.
Well, so there's grind culture, and then there's hippie culture, which is the exact opposite. And there's neither one is on the right track because for them, for the grind culture, everything is for the sake of money, and the sort of opposite is just sort of pure laziness. That's not leisure. that's not even understanding that you have a purpose in this world.
Yeah.
Saint Benedict's motto, and when he established the Benedictine monastery, was "Ora et labora," pray and work.
Mm.
Prayer is the leisure. That's the highest kind of leisure that
It's
we
the
can
first one
have,
on the
is
left
when
on
we
the list.
waste time with when we waste time with God, right?
Yeah.
The ora, but the labora is in there for the sake of the ora. We work in order that we may pray better, because if the body isn't engaged and has done something physical, then you're not going to be able to be mentally present to your prayer.
Yeah.
Part of it is also learning how to trust in God and not wanting to control every aspect of your life and giving him that time. You know, like some people say, "Oh, I'm too busy to pray." Or I just heard the other day, because I was like asking a group of young people who are, you know, college or working. I was asking them, like, "Do you have any shows you can recommend me to watch?" And like one of them was like, "I don't even have time to watch shows anymore." You know?
Yep.
And you know, if you take that 30 minutes to pray, to, you know, another 30 minutes to spend time with your family and to watch a show, you're going to be kind of letting go of the control that you want to have over your life. And that's going to be an act of worship, and that's going to help you to trust God more, and it's going to help you to, you know, be a more balanced person in your life.
The balance is the important part, because we're all addressing, I think it's correct for us to be addressing mostly one type of person, the grind person, the person that works a lot, because that's the majority of people that we know.
True.
Again, that's bad advice for somebody who doesn't do anything at all.
Yeah, balance.
So it's kind of like there's a medicine. You take the wrong medicine when you don't have the same sickness, it's going to hurt you. And for somebody who's already lazy to hear us say, you know, you got to really rest and take care of yourself, that's not the thing they need to hear.
I think there's a further distinction, though, because classically we wouldn't be thinking of the person who's not doing anything, the lazy person, as in fact engaging in authentic leisure.
Correct. I agree.
Because authentic leisure is activity, but it's activity that's good in and of itself.
Right.
The lazy person is engaging in no activity.
Yep.
But the kind of activity that's leisurely would be like reading theology or philosophy,
or reading in general,
having a
or
conversation,
reading in
with
general,
a
or
person.
having a conversation
Jesus
about a
making
wonderful
house
topic,
visit,
or
you know, something like that.
or being with friends and engaging in something that is beautiful and good, something that is properly human. That's leisurely activity. And that's the kind of activity that was always permitted by the church to be engaged in on Sunday.
Right.
Because that's not work.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Work is what we do for the sake of something else.
Yep.
I can also understand the kinds of people that might say, but I like it. I like to work all the time. It's fun. It gives me a good feeling. I'm satisfied by that feeling of being tired or getting tasks done, checking things off of a list. I think I can understand that because there is a sort of satisfaction to that.
Sure.
But another, I think, level of observation that should be considered is if you're not doing the rest part that should come after that, that should correspond to that, then you're not asking and answering why you're doing the work. And if you're not answering why you're doing the work, then there's a lack of humanity there, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's precisely why philosophy and theology both define work by the object, right? What kind of work is it that you're doing, right? Not by how you feel when you're doing it, but what kind of work is it that you're doing? Is
What's it for?
Is it something that is intrinsically good for itself, or is it something that you're doing for the sake of something else? Right.
So there's at least three things that we're distinguishing here, I think, rightly. We have work, which is what we do for the sake of money mostly. There's leisure, which is activities that we do for their own sake, even including sports games, things like that, things that we do. Then there's also rest in the sense of you have to actually sleep. That's not leisure. Your body actually has to sleep.
Yeah.
And I think there's also part of this can be entertainment. That's a part of it too.
Sure.
It's not just I have to work and then do this thoughtful activity. But even Aquinas says you couldn't pray and do theology all day long. He has to sometimes just kind of zone out and just think, and not even think, just zone out and just like chill. Not everything has to be like intense.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to like.
But the extremes of grind and hippie seem to be being engaged in work for the sake of something else all the time, or doing nothing.
Correct.
Right.
Neither of them has leisure.
And it's the leisurely part that I think almost everybody misses.
Yep.
There are activities out there that are good for themselves, right? Some of them begin to pop up. There are some things in the younger generations that they kind of naturally incline towards that I think we can really support. Like their fascination with craft beers or with game nights or
Smoking
things like
cigars.
that. Or
Game nights
smoking
are
cigar-
a
game
good
nights.
one, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's a way of retrieving authentic leisure without them even knowing that that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's part of their rebellion against the world of
Mhm.
work,
Yeah.
right? We're just telling them, yeah, engage more of that, know why you're doing it, and distinguish it from simply being lazy.
I talk a lot about hobbies and fandoms, and I think to a great degree they can be very healthy because they connect you with others that have, the game night is a way to be with your friends and just have fun with your friends. What are we getting out of it? We're getting this out of it. This is why we're doing it to do it.
We're doing it to do it.
Yeah, that's what leisure is about.
Mm.
You know,
So this morning, I was scrolling on my phone. I was going through Instagram Reels
Doomscrolling.
because of leisure. That was my
No.
leisure. Yeah.
Because you're a millennial.
No, it was because I didn't want to get out of bed and face the day.
Face the horrors of it.
Yeah. No, but seriously, like just leisurely. My algorithm is pretty educational, I would say. That I learn a lot from looking at what people are doing.
Mine is mostly cats.
Like doing.
Cats.
I learned from what they do with their time wisely. So there's this guy named Aaron King. He has an Instagram profile called Deep Snap. Okay, a lot of his videos consist of him, very high quality videos. He has very good camera work, sitting in nature and just staring off into it. It'll be somewhere in the mountains, somewhere in a forest, somewhere by a river, and it's. I understand why it's so attractive to watch. One, it's very high quality, and two, it just gives you that sense of peace that I was kind of describing. Like when I see a picture of the beach or a video of the beach, I'm like, why am I not there? Why am I not making more of an effort to get there?
There it is.
They just pulled it up. Yeah.
Oh wow,
So
that's lovely.
one of his videos, this is a very interesting fact. One of his videos has hundreds of thousands of views. Over 80% of the views of that video in every platform that it's been made available on are by men. Because it seems like men are mostly, caught up in this idea that they have to continuously be on the grind, like Father Andy was saying.
Yeah.
And when they see something like this, they stop
Yeah,
and
their
they can't
hearts
help but
open.
watch it.
Yeah,
They
their
can't help.
hearts open.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're sitting in your cubicle day in and day out staring at a screen,
Yeah.
your heart naturally pines for
So there's
what
no,
the beauty of the world.
This
right?
is so cool.
There's nothing happening in those videos.
I
He's
know.
just sitting in a
He's
chair.
just staring, huh?
He's just sitting in a chair and staring.
Wow.
I got to tell you, when you're doing the sort of grind for so long, you start to. I don't want to say you lose the capacity, but you start to lose the capacity to even be able to enjoy this stuff. You do it for enough years, and here's another part of it that we're not good at culturally. To be able to sit on outdoors or on the beach or in a lake or whatever, by a lake, you have to sort of be okay. You have to be comfortable with a little bit of discomfort. Outdoors, like, is annoying. There's
Yeah.
bugs and there's sunlight and there's wind and there's whatever. And inside, it's bland. It's a cubicle, but it's cozy.
It's controlled.
It's controlled.
Yeah.
So to be outside,
Yeah.
we're not good at that.
Mm.
You know, my parents, again, I'm very grateful. My family, we would go camping and stuff like that to get us out of this sort of comfortable thing. And we would be such whiny little babies when the trip would start, and then we wouldn't want to leave. And we were sleeping in a tent
Yeah,
and whatever.
yeah, yeah.
It is very uncomfortable. You're not used to being, it's not the bed that you're used to, not whatever. Traveling in general is uncomfortable. And so we're used to sort of accepting discomfort when it comes to making money.
Mhm.
But we sort of don't value ourselves enough to accept comfort for the sake of our own leisure and our own happiness.
Yeah.
Because I think the value there is harder to perceive. It's not as tangible.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just imagining, somebody could make a point next week. I'm going to go and sit by the lake for a little bit, but they're going to take their phone with them, and they're going to, so that the lake is
There you
going to
go.
be like the background, the pretty background for me to stare at my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You won't even notice it.
Yeah. It's going to be something for me to take a picture of.
Yeah,
and
just
post
to
and
post
Post,
it,
exactly.
Yeah.
So I can get the likes.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
another kind of grind that
But before I saw this account, something I've wanted to do for a while, especially like now that I see myself, getting busy and just having so many tasks to do. I've always wanted to go to Jackson Hole. It's I think somewhere in the Yellowstone vicinity, And I know they have like ranch properties there where you can stay and like kind of do your own retreat. But I think that's an example of leisurely activity where you're not just doing nothing. You'd be, taking hikes. You'd be riding horses. You'd be absorbed into nature, and kind of like this guy is doing, where it's not just motionless. There's a lot going on. It's not controlled, like you were saying.
Authentic leisure is the most important kind of activity that a human being can be doing. The other kind of work that we do for the sake of something else, the tradition calls servile.
Mm.
Right? That's servile labor because it's the work that's proper to a servant of something. Leisure is the work that is proper to a human being as such. So if you don't feel like a human being in your work, you need to make time for leisurely activities.
Yeah.
The real Sabbath.
Yeah, and that's because of the value that we should have for ourselves. Sometimes people will say, okay, I work hard for the sake of my family, and that's an amazing thing, and they make a lot of sacrifices in doing so, but you have to also care for yourself in a proper, balanced way so that you can be there for your family.
And so they can see your example.
Yeah.
No, because if you don't do that, then you actually can't be there for your family well.
Right.
You'll end up burning out. And you're just going to be angry and irritable all the time.
You can just say my name. It's okay.
We have to, I was gonna say, for us priests, like you have a father that goes to work all day and he grinds, and then he has to come home and be with his wife and kids and care for their needs. But we as priests, we have a huge family, and there are so many things on the parish level that we deal with, or in the seminary, or like whatever roles we have. And so I feel like, for me personally, that it's a temptation to just be working so much, and to pause on that is kind of like feels like a lack in my priesthood.
Feel guilty.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
by the way, that will be encouraged by the people that get something out of your work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
here's the thing that's really hard for a lot of people to hear. Parents, whoever it is, workers, nobody is going to tell you, hey, slow down. Because everybody around you, again, there's nothing malicious. They get something out of the work that you do. You have to be the one to say, sorry, be disappointed in me. I need to rest right now. Be upset with me. You're not going to get what you want because I have to actually stop and worship God or take care of myself or something like that. And it's disappointing because, hopefully there's somebody in your life that's going to say, sorry, please just stop working, do something for yourself. But it's rare. It's very rare.
Yeah.
Because okay, people are going to say that. They're going to say, oh, why don't you rest? And the response is going to be, okay, can I rest during the time that I need to do that thing for you?
Oh, nice.
And if they say no, then they don't really care.
Okay.
They want they want somebody else to not get what they need.
Right.
So, okay, sorry, you're actually not the one that cares right now. So you have to be the one to do that for yourself. I actually think it's related to the worship thing. I think it's because the Sabbath is combining both of these. You worship God. That God is the one in whose image you are. When you don't do that, you've replaced God with something else, and you're worshiping something else. That's the image that you're making yourself to live in. You're in the image of money now, which means you're a servant, because money is useless by itself. It's only useful when it's traded for something else, and that's if that's what you're worshiping, that's what you become. You don't see any worth in yourself. Yeah. God is the one who is worshipped and adorable in His own nature, not because of something that He's doing. And if that's the God you're worshiping, that's what you're becoming. You actually are acknowledging that you have value in yourself, and you don't need to earn it. You see what I mean? It's all connected ideas.
I'm just thinking of families who are feeling the grind. I think it's very important, especially for parents, to know what activities, in fact, recreate them. That word recreation is different from entertainment, right? We're typically passive towards entertainment, but when we feel recreated, it means some new life has been breathed into us, right? A woman might think of a spa day as doing that, which it might be, but are there proper activities that give you life? Those are I think everybody needs to know what those are for them.
It's a good way to look at it.
Video games.
Yeah.
I remember one of the most memorable homilies that I remember hearing from the Vicar General. It was a while ago, and you said a story about how one day you went to northern Michigan.
Oh yeah,
and you
my
visited
retreat.
your spiritual director
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something.
Father Francis.
And I'll say what I remember, and then you can maybe say the story. But I just remember like you and him, you were making tea, and you were just so used to rushing it, and then you noticed how he just had this ritual process, and
He didn't allow me. He said, "You're not allowed to drink tea in the kitchen. You make tea in the
Okay,
kitchen, and you
that's
use the piala, like the plate, and then the teacup on top, whatever that's called.
Yeah.
I guess that's what it is.
Saucer.
Saucer. Yeah, thank you. I thought that I didn't know that. He said, you make it here when it's, and then you walk into the dining room and you sit down and you drink. You're not allowed to stand in the kitchen and drink." I'm like, I'm used to just like
remember that thing.
tea bag.
Remember that where you like squeeze it on top of the cup and it just like goes in there.
Yeah.
It was like a quick method.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. So I was just like,
Yeah.
in fact, and so I went there and had this retreat. I didn't have my cell phone the whole time. I told him, I said, when I get there, take my cell phone from me.
Okay,
And don't
yeah.
give it back until I leave. And I did all this stuff and I was like, wow, this was I really felt like a new creation. It was beautiful. And then like, I'm way worse than I ever was now. Again, the habits, it took a while. I was good for a few months. But now I don't even want to tell you how I drink coffee in the morning and how I make it
Nescafe with the
with
water.
some creatine in it, and I just do a cold shot in the morning.
Cold plunge of coffee.
Cold plunge of coffee, yeah.
There is
Lovely, bro.
the kind of a reaction or movement in Europe some years ago. I don't know if it was in the United States, but they called it the slow food movement.
Okay.
Did that ever make
Never
it
heard
over
of
here? It was a rebellion against fast food.
Mm.
So in the same way as fast food gets as many people through as possible in as little time as possible, this was a movement to ensure that everything is going to be as painstakingly slow as possible as you're easy. as you're
On
eating.
purpose.
On purpose. But I mean, the food was all that much better, of course.
Of course. Yeah.
But I don't know whether that made it to the U.S. Maybe somebody in the back could look it up. The slow
Yeah.
food movement. I think that's another thing from the culture we
well,
can
The
support.
U.S. would break down. I think
Yeah,
that's what someone
well-
tried to do.
There's a big trend now of these like health, or like maybe it's just the videos that I've seen, but they are pretty popular. These like health guys that are putting out videos, and like I remember watching one where he did a comparison of the amount of just money that you spend on fast food nowadays versus if you go and get steak, vegetables, and rice. It's significantly less than what they spend at fast
Yeah.
food now. And
The
like,
funny thing is, so some of those guys, it's about meal prepping. Great. All that's
Yeah.
healthy, fine. But they end up, again, doing all the work in an hour on Sunday and then just eating out of a bowl,
yeah,
from the fridge.
You're
So
still
it's
not eating together.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know,
honestly,
man.
fast food would be like an improvement for most of my days. Like, because again, it's just like the bar and the protein shake and that's it. And I got to get to work. You know
Yeah.
what I mean,
What are we
to
gonna-
actually have something warm would be a change.
What should we do?
He's
Nothing,
going to be
just leave
vicar
it be.
general
No,
for
man.
2 more
Come
years,
on.
and then he's going to die on this diet. You see?
If I haven't died yet, I think it's just,
You can't just keep eating protein bars.
I have good ones though. There's good ones.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about it.
No, we're gonna talk about you. No, but seriously, like you do a retreat every year for yourself, and you go out. And,
I do.
and
Those are the days when I'm actually slow, and I sit there and I read what I feel like reading, and I pray I do all my prayers, and I take my time, and
I need that.
do it, man. Get out of here.
get out of here.
I
Okay, but that's good once a
do that once a year. Yeah,
and
you have to.
some people do that also.
If I didn't do
like,
that, I'd be dead for sure.
take a vacation. How to do it on a daily basis and on a weekly basis?
Weekly, that's the thing. You're
You
right.
know?
You're correct.
That's
Here's the thing.
what we have to do.
As a priest, I'm forced to because I'm bound to like praying the office, for example. I say mass every day. There, I do have to slow down.
yeah.
There, it's unjust to rush through a prayer and not pay attention to it. So now, whether or not I want it for myself, out of respect for God, I am going to force myself to slow down. So I do have that.
Okay, that's good.
Once a week. Here's the problem. Here's the problem with priests in particular. Even
Sunday,
Jesus says this.
I know.
The priests in the temple profane the
Yeah.
Sabbath and are
It's
guiltless. So the priests work on Sunday, so to speak, and that's kind of our day of working. So
Oh, we can't do the Sabbath, but we can't do Sunday, but we have to take another day.
yeah, I'm not good at that.
Yeah, like at least take part of a day. Like an
You know
afternoon.
what? Here's the problem. The days that I need to, I have to freaking film this podcast. I'm going to throw it back in your court.
I was considering this as leisure this whole time.
There is no bigger
Yeah,
burden on my life than this
with,
podcast.
with friends.
The food sometimes is good sometimes, yeah.
Eating with friends, bro.
That's true. I do like that.
We're gonna eat with friends right now. Are you guys ready for
Let's
that?
do it.
I was born
Is it
ready
time
to
already?
It
I'm,
is time.
I'm
Oh,
actually,
wow.
Yeah,
I'm
see
actually
how
not-
That
Time
conversation
flies when
just
you're at leisure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. By
Hey.
the way, this is so relevant to everyday life and everyday experience. Like that's why this conversation is just going on, and
Yeah.
it could keep going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of dinner with friends, it's Andrew's birthday on Saturday.
Happy
Oh,
birthday,
yeah.
Andrew.
Happy
Happy birthday,
Andrew.
producer
So
Andrew.
he's going to burden me with going out to dinner with him at some point.
Where are you guys gonna go? Do you know?
We have a place there, yeah.
Oh, but you can't say. You
I'm
have
not
to
gonna-
gatekeep it.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to, I'm going to gatekeep it until I find out it's like not that good, and then I'll tell people. If it's really good, I'm not telling anybody.
I expect gifts next week. That's
Andrew
what Andrew
says.
said. Just lower yourself.
Lower yourself.
Lower yourself. a
Fix your
little
hat.
bit.
The rope on your head is like not.
Jason Gosh. Oh my gosh. Jason Gosh is here. Welcome, bro. Welcome to Feeding Fathers.
Oh.
Is this live?
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Well, it's not live.
Got a little
Oh, it will
bruschetta.
be live.
Tell us about the thing.
What's for food today? Please,
Some
please tell
bruschetta,
us.
I think.
From Dolce.
Yeah, from Dolce. Bruschetta, 2 pizzas, a hot tray over there. That's actually mac and cheese. Save some for Father and Keto. He loves that.
Oh,
Okay.
That's
Is it
our
lasagna?
lasagna and a couple paninis, a couple sandwiches.
Beautiful.
Nice, man.
fantastic.
God bless you
Thank
guys.
you.
And you're located next to
Thank you
Ralph's.
very much.
Yeah, right next to
San
Ralph's.
Diego.
Yeah.
Rancho.
Rancho. The hood.
Thank
The
you.
hood. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah, let's see you, bro.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Thank you very much, man.
Jason Ghosh, everybody.
Jason Ghosh,
The one and only.
the one and only. Yep.
Thanks to George.
Yeah, thank
The
you,
owner.
George, and the
Yeah.
God bless you, George. We
team
love
at
you.
Dolce.
Dolce.
Dolce, yes.
Dolce
Dolce Italian food. A nice Italian feast. A lot of food.
Yeah, this is great.
Shout out
It's
to
great. We got panino and mac and
Magdalene.
cheese. And
George,
Ephraim.
Magdalene, Ephraim,
Joseph.
Joseph,
Bernadette.
and Bernadette.
And most
Bernadette.
importantly, Shireen.
Shireen's
Yeah.
the best person we just named.
Nadine, Sarah, the whole family. Thank you guys for this amazing food. So we are gonna watch a clip from Babette's feast.
Barmhärtighet och sannhet mötas. Rättvisa och fröjd ska kyssa varandra. Människan tror i sin svaghet och sin kortsynthet att hon måste göra sitt val här i livet. Och fruktar den risk hon därvid löper. Vi känner fruktan. Men nej, vårt val är utan betydelse. Den tid kommer då våra ögon öppnas och vi omsider inser att nåden är utan ände. Vi ska blott vänta i tillit och mottaga i tacksamhet. Nåden ställer inga villkor. Och se allt som vi har valt blev oss givet. Allt vad vi har avstått från blir oss beviljat. Ja, vi får också det tillbaka som vi har kastat bort. Barmhärtighet och sannhet mötas. Rättvisa och fröjd ska kyssa varann.
when was the last time you had a toast like that at a meal?
Did you do a toast for the bishop? When,
No, I should have. Yeah.
I know, you should have made a speech.
I got up just like him. Yeah.
Wear that outfit.
That's funny, dude.
I like how everyone's dressed in their finery.
Yeah.
That's cute.
It's what they had up
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Well worth your time.
I see why people call it boring, though. No, I'm not saying I think
I'm
it's
gonna
bad,
watch it.
but I see why people will say it's boring.
I mean, part of the picture of that, like, that we're talking about is dressing well too.
Yeah.
It's a meaningless thing. It doesn't give you
Being
any
a bad
profit. It doesn't make you make any more money, or it doesn't make your anything more efficient. But when you go to church, for example, and you're dressed something nice,
Yeah.
you know, again, it's not about is it a sin or technically or this. We don't need to be that precise about it.
Yeah.
Just go somewhere that you feel like it's something important
Yeah.
and sort of act that way.
It has to do with matching the dignity of the activity,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it used to be when you went to school. If you went to college, you wore a jacket and a tie.
Yeah.
Nowadays
gone.
they wear
Yeah.
sweatpants, right?
You wouldn't go to a wedding wearing shorts and a shirt, you know.
Mhm.
So why do you go to mass?
Mhm.
Like that.
That's a whole conversation.
That's another conversation.
That's another conversation.
What people wear at mass.
Yeah, we can have
Although in general, I think
episode on that. I think.
yeah. I'd be hesitant to say act like you're going to a wedding because the way people dress at weddings isn't great either sometimes.
Yeah, and I mean, we can maybe save this for the episode. Like you said, it's not a sin to wear shorts at mass. So go to mass, even if
Yeah.
you know.
But if you have a choice,
Yeah.
make a good choice.
Okay, so we are gonna play the Bible story emoji game.
Oh,
So we have to
I've
look
played this
at those
before.
emojis.
Noah's Ark. Next.
Yeah, Noah's Ark.
Next. Yep. Next.
Noah's Ark. Okay.
Jonah. Next. Okay. Stick. Blood. Is this the woman with the hemorrhage?
Good Samaritan.
I check.
Good Samaritan.
Good Samaritan, maybe. There you go. Good job.
Scissors.
there's a lion and
Yeah,
a
there you
monkey and scissors and
Samson and
sadness.
Delilah.
Yes.
Good call.
Mm.
Bricks.
Tower of Babel.
Oh, good call.
Oh wow! Look
Good
at that.
one. Is that a blind guy walking?
Horse, rain,
Okay, this is a tough one, bro.
light.
Calming the storm.
Is that Saul?
Oh, there you go. The conversion of
Saul.
Paul. Yeah.
Oh.
Good call.
Wow.
Good job. Brother Chris is killing it here.
That was obvious.
Okay. Well,
What's that first one?
there's a guy running like this. A
Oh.
little money. Zacchaeus.
Yeah,
Zacchaeus.
Zacchaeus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like small guy.
Yeah, little guy. He's just a little guy.
Last one. Okay.
When he fell into a hole.
This is very interesting.
What's that black thing? Yeah.
It's a
is that
The hole.
Don't go into the hole.
Don't fall.
Stop. Oh, this time it's going to hurt your ego if we don't get this.
Okay.
I don't know.
I give up.
Doubting
Doubting
Thomas.
Thomas.
How? Oh, he put his hand in
Put
the
your
side.
hand in my
I
side.
hate you. That last one is kind of funny though.
My Lord and my
That's a
God.
very interesting way to look at it.
Did you guys come up with those?
That has,
Chat GBT.
that has Steve written all over it. Here, that's it.
Oh, thank you. So, can you tell us what you made that day
Yeah.
for the bishop's
So I
meal?
can know what I missed
So
out.
Father Chris can be upset.
Yeah.
And so I had to find a proper Italian store, which is actually harder than
Which one did
it
you go
was
to?
in San Diego. I ended up going to in Little Italy. There's a place next to Buon Appetito restaurant.
Mona Lisa?
Buon Appetito restaurant has a little
okay.
Italian market next to it.
Okay, I think I know which one you're talking
Yeah,
about.
because you have to have Pecorino Romano. It's
Yeah, there's.
that's the sheep cheese.
Yeah.
But I got some charcuterie from there, the prosciutto and the salami and several kinds of cheeses. And then for the first course, we had a burrata caprese. And then I made an
Cheese.
yeah. So
Yeah,
burrata
burrata
is
cheese.
it's a species of mozzarella, but it's a really really creamy mozzarella ball.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's one of the best things in the world, and
Wow.
with some heirloom tomatoes and just a dash
Wow.
of pesto and
That's
some
what this reminds me of.
balsamic reduction.
And this bruschetta is unbelievable. The bread, like they brought it here from Rancho, and it's still like crispy and soft. Try to interrupt.
Not at all. And then I made a norcina pasta. Which is
Norcina
from,
pasta.
It's from the Umbria region of Italy, central Italy, where there's a lot of wild boar. So it's
gosh,
it
right.
has a sausage base with a cream sauce I wish I had truffle, but you can't find truffle in the United States. But it turned out really well with the rigatoni, and then I made a 12-pound prime rib roast.
Wow.
And mashed potatoes and green beans. And then Hakam made a tiramisu, and the digestivi after that, the limoncello and the amaro and sambuca.
Yep. Excellent meal. What was Father Chris is very upset right now, and that makes me happy.
No, I'm actually happy you guys had a meal like that. But I would also like to know when you plan on doing that again.
Anytime, brother. Let's make it happen.
What was the best thing that you tried, Father
The
Andy?
pasta was fantastic. All of it was excellent, though. In contrast, when Father Chris was in the seminary and Father Tristan was in the seminary, and there was like COVID, all that COVID stuff was happening, all kinds of stuff was shut down. It was during Thanksgiving, and like we just couldn't. We were just like stuck because somebody had COVID or all of us did or something like that. So we're all at the house, and so I went and got turkey burgers from Carl's Jr. to celebrate Thanksgiving. Remember that year? That was the
I
opposite.
do remember that.
That's called the anti-Father Fadi.
That's all you could do during that year, though.
Yeah, exactly.
In many ways, yeah.
Well, this was a good discussion, guys.
Love you guys.
Good food. Thank you, Dolce. Thank you all for watching. Go take a break. Go to the beach.
Pray for Father Andy to sell his car.
Yeah.
Should be done by the time you see
Did you
this.
see how I made that inclusio?
Look at this guy talking Latin.
Yeah.
We should celebrate you selling your car by like going to the beach.
You want to dinner somewhere?
Yeah, I agree.
Dinner on the beach.
Having a leisurely dinner.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that.
Nice.
Yellow bye.
On that note,
On that
bye
note.
everybody.
Goodbye, everyone.
Peace out.